Today we are going over the Leave It command in day 7 of the home dog training program. So this is officially the second half of the home dog training program, and this is where we are going to start adding distractions, duration, really holding those commands longer, challenging all the commands that we learned in the first 6 days of the training program. The Leave It command is asking your dog to leave and ignore whatever they're looking at, whatever they're focused on, and look to you. So this is really going to help with any unwanted behaviors like chasing cats or rabbits in the neighborhood, eating that sock. You can even use it for people and dogs on your walk. You can tell your dog to leave it, and their reaction should be immediately to look to you. But we're going to start inside with no distractions and teach your dog what Leave It means. And first, whenever I'm teaching Leave It, I like to kind of have a wall or something behind me, and I am going to use my whole body to teach them what Leave It means. So I like to use a wall as kind of my backup person, and we're going to start with a boring object. So the boring object that I use is just a little Tupperware container, as you guys can see. So it's just a little Tupperware container, and I'm going to teach them what Leave It means. So I'm going to use the wall behind me, like I said, and put the Tupperware container on the ground. Yes, good boy. Leave it. Yes. And you want to say Leave It when they're looking at the object. So whatever you're using to teach them, when they're looking at it is when you want to say the Leave It command. Leave it? Yes. He's not super interested in this, but he's still looking at it. It's still getting his attention, so we're going to keep using it for right now. Leave it? Yes. Yes, good boy. Leave it? Yes. As you can see, I am moving the Tupperware container around now, and that's getting his attention more. He's getting zoned in on it. Whenever you're moving the Leave It object around, it's going to challenge your dog's prey instincts. Their instinct is to get up and go after the object that is moving. So the more you move it, the more you kick it around, the harder it's going to be. So you want to start with just subtle movements. Leave it? Yes. So nothing crazy. I'm not kicking it across the room, because you want to stay on your toes, because if they try to go for it, you're going to step in front of them to block them from going for it. You do not want your dog to get the Leave It object. I do not want to see anybody going like, oh no, he got it. No, you are going to be aggressive. You are going to step in front of your dog, because if your dog gets the Leave It object, it now becomes a game to him, and he's never going to take you seriously. So back to it, we're going to just move it around a little, very subtly. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. And once his reaction is immediate, he's looking to you the second you say Leave It. He's not very interested in the Tupperware or the easy object anymore. You think he's understanding what you're saying. I am now going to upgrade a little bit. Nothing too hard. I'm going to just use a chunk of treat, and we are going to use this chunk of treat as our Leave It object. So once again, I'm going to use the door behind me, or the wall behind me, and place the treat behind me. Leave it. Yes. We're going to start off really easy. So I'm just going to move out of the way so he can look at the treat. Leave it. Yes. So that gave him an opportunity to go for it. I am no longer in his line of sight to that treat. Now I'm just going to kind of move it a little. Leave it. Yes, good boy. So the command alone was not enough for him that time. I had to make some sounds and get his attention back to me. Leave it. Yes, good boy. You're drooling. Leave it. Yes, good boy. So right now we're basically teaching them if I ignore this thing, I get something a little bit better. So that's where we were with a really boring object. So now we're teaching them even more. If I ignore that, leave it. Yes, I'm gonna get a reward. Leave it. Yes. I'm not moving the treat. Leave it. Yes. So that time I had to step back in front of him because he was trying to be sneaky and move towards the treat on the floor. Leave it. Yes. Sometimes just opening up that line of sight is enough to challenge him a little bit more. Just moving it around to get his attention. Leave it. Yes. The better he gets, the more control he has right now, the further I'm going to kick the treat around. Leave it. Yes, good boy. And remember to stay on your toes because you don't want to be lollygagging over here while your dog tries to run for the treat and then he gets there before you. So definitely don't even test it if you think that he is going to get it before you or he is even going to try to get it for you. So I'm going to stay in kind of an area where I can still get there in time if he does try to go for it. Leave it. Yes, good boy. Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Now, if they get too close to you, they're being too aggressive about trying to get whatever leave it object you're using, what you want to do is just walk into them to give yourself a little bit more room. Good boy. So don't be afraid if your dog is starting to like back you up into a corner to walk into them, to push them back. And if you have to be aggressive about it, that is fine. You do not want your dog to get the leave it object. Right. Leave it. Yes. So that time I was really ready to jump in front of him because he was thinking about, leave it. Yes. Just like that, he was thinking about trying to go for the treat on the floor. Whenever you're done practicing, you want to then pick up the leave it object and put it away. So I like to do this way first because you have the wall behind you to kind of help and you want to teach them what leave it means. You have more control because you have your whole body. But leave it can also be a really good way to work through any resource guarding that your dog may have. And that is really when you'd want to start having your hands in with the leave it command. So you'd want to be down on their level. You'd want to be down on their level like this and teach them leave it with the object on the ground, just using your hand as something to block it if they try to go for it. Ways to make it harder is give them more area to go for it. Don't stand in their line of sight. Move the object more. You could even drop the object from higher and that will really work through their prey drive. But this is where, what we just went over is where you need to start teaching your dog the leave it command. Remember to tag Train with Tay in any of your guys' training videos. And I'm so excited to be starting the second part of the home dog training program. Be ready for the next video tomorrow.